Hi there, I'm John and welcome to my shop. Today's build is going to be a drill press table and fence, and a little surprise at the end, a little hidden tool. So let's go check it out and get to it. This is the tabletop we're going to build out of 3/4 inch ply, maple ply. Even use the hardware found left around in the shop. A few fasteners and some scrap plywood. A removable centerpiece. I got the idea from John McGrath, Man in Shed. Check him out. So let's get into the build. We started with the 3/4 inch plywood scrap. Gonna rip it down to 12 inches. So we could get two pieces out of it. I'm shooting for 12 by 18. You can make yours any size you want. This is just the 12 by 18 is going to work for this drill press table for what I have. So right here, just going to rip it down with the wind track saw. It was giving me a little bit of trouble, but we worked through it. It's sliding on me. I didn't put down the foam and clamp it down. Probably should have, looking back at it now. But we got through it. Right here I'm laying out one at 18 and one at 16. They should have both been at 18. And I don't realize it right now in this clip. Just cutting parts here. Still haven't realized that I've messed up. The old thumb tap is, the brain thinking. Just cutting all them through the lines. The dust collection is not very good on the saw when it's on the slide, but when it's nested, it's really good actually. So right here, I'm figuring out, I'm a little frustrated because I have three pieces and I need two 12 by 18 and I don't have them, so that's what you're seeing there. So now I'm just laying out, this is the good board, 12 by 18. Shameless plug right there. I'm laying out just 3 sections. I think they're right around 6 inches. Just cutting pieces. You see the sawdust flying everywhere. The dust collection actually works really good when it's nested, but obviously when it's out there on the rails, on the slides, it doesn't work very good. I don't know any that do, really. So I'm just cutting all my pieces. I think they're right around 6 inches, whatever works. You can make the two side pieces larger and the middle piece smaller, or any size you want, as long as it works for you and your drill press. Just remember that center piece needs to be in the center for the most part, where the drill bit comes down. Just finishing up these cuts. Use that clamp because it's not my favorite thing to do, is a cross cut on a 45, but with it clamped down, it was nice and secure, so it felt good. This time I just buried the blade because it was actually less sawdust flying everywhere. And right here, I'm just laying them out, just seeing how they're going to fit. And just kind of moving them around, playing with them. What I'm talking about in this video is this is tables we're upgrading. So in this little makeshift fence / table, I would just use for, well, anything I had that was bigger than that little 8-inch table right there. So sometimes I would have up to 6 clamps holding stuff that I was drilling, depending on what angle and what the size was, and to hold it. So this new fence should be a nice little upgrade to be able to hold it down and replace that centerpiece as well. So let's get it done. And right here I'm just tracing around the bottom of the table, get that exact pattern from the other table. And it's not square and it's not at a 90-degree angle either, so we'll just work with it. Here I'm just lining it out with blue markers so you could see it better and I could see it better. Because what we're trying to do is kind of block that in, that small table, with little scrap pieces of wood so we could lock it in and then bolt it down eventually. So I'm just pre-drilling these little scrap pieces and putting one side on first. So we put the table on. I'm going to clamp it down just so I can get make a new line on that left side there. Since my blue line is offset because I didn't have it dead center actually, but we're going to make it right now. So I put that spacer up there. Little autofocus error issue. There we go. And I just scribe a new line. And now I know that's exactly where that board's going to fit on that bottom of that table. Now we're just going to put on the other piece. Thought I was going to need 3 pieces, but after I put on both side pieces and slid it on the tabletop, it was plenty secure. So I didn't have to add that extra piece right there, that horizontal piece. Right here I'm just taking the measurement off the pole there, the pillar, just so I can move the table back a couple inches, and that's about what it was. I think about 2 inches. Right here I'm just going to hog out this material with this 2-inch Forstner again, and I'm actually having a hard time. The drill keeps either the setting wrong or something, but we finally got through it. Just using a flush trim bit, a flush trim saw to just clean that up. Yeah, 4 bolts, 4 nuts, and 4 washers. This is just stuff I had around the shop, so that's what makes this nicer for me. You know, it costs less money, and we all want to save a little money. So now I'm just trying to get the slot transferred over to the board. You can see my drawing wasn't exactly perfect, but I couldn't really see. You see better here now than I could see when I was actually doing it. But it was close enough. I knew where we had to get the drill bit centered in the slot, and so that worked out. So I almost put one in the middle. I thought I was going to put 6, but I was calculating in my head. 4 is plenty. Flip it over. One didn't go all the way through. So here's a chamfer bit right here. I haven't used the gold ones. I've used the other ones quite a bit, but this one, it tears the wood up. Watch this. Almost leaves like a flower effect, but it worked out. Just I wouldn't really recommend those. So here I've already glued the left side down. I'm just fighting with it, moving it around, trying to get it straight. That stuff is slick as snot. You're just trying to get that stuff, the wood and plywood, and like a big old sandwich cookie, and it's just sliding. So here we go. We got it though. I just clamped it. Now later off camera, I did put a couple screws on the underneath after it was already mounted to the drill press. And now onto the table saw so we can cut the fence 3 inches. I had this leftover stock glued together from the crosscut sled I made for my table saw, so that worked out. Now I'm just took it out of the clamps and make sure it still slides, because it can move. It could move on you, but if it was tight, you could just sand it down on the 45s. So here I'm just breaking all the edges, sanding a couple pencil marks off, but nothing major, just softening up. So right here, I'm just gonna cut off the 45, the corners, 1.5 inches in on each corner. I know they have jigs now for these things. Breaking the edges again. So right here we're throwing in the bolts. They're countersunk down nicely. So just gotta make sure you get a washer big enough so that it'll actually, go over the whatever hole gap you have. If you don't have the Harbor Freight drill press, if you have something else, you could do this with any model for the most part. Just make any modifications you may need. Just snugging them up. This was 11 millimeter. I don't use too many wrenches, so I remember when I do. Just checking it out for a nice smooth fit. Right here we're gonna put these little brackets on here. These are just construction hardware brackets normally you would find behind your drywall, but we're gonna use them to get a perfect 90, even though they're not a perfect 90. Just snapping off this little tab right here so gets out of the way of the clamp. Right here I'm just gonna clamp these, and I'm pre-drill. Even though they're not a perfect 90, I'm going to show you how it's going to work. Meaning the metal is just not, perfect 90. That's what I'm getting at. I have 4 screws should be good enough to hold that. So I cut these blocks so we have a good reference. A little super glue here, just a regular super glue, nothing special. And this activator is actually from Hobby Lobby, so if you didn't know that, they have some. So we used a wood glue and a little super glue here to clamp the blocks, the 45 blocks to the fence. I just wanted to get it nice and tight fit. I left these in clamps overnight, but you could leave them in for a few hours. All right, we have the fence out of clamps, and even though these brackets are not perfectly square, they're not a perfect 90. Just look at them. That's not their purpose really. But we put them on there, and these are a perfect 90 though. I made sure those were nice and square. So even though it may wobble or teeter a little bit, it's only going to go so far, because the blocks are going to hold it perfect. So let's check it out. Let's put it on here. Clamp it on. You could use the spring clamps too. The little ones or the big ones. I mean, these hold better, of course, but there. So that's nice and square. And let me show you how square it is. So here it is. I turned the fence at an angle so you can see. And that's pretty square. I mean, that's right on the money. So that'll work. Well, I was playing around and adjusting the fence, and I noticed it hits here. And I'm not, it's about as high. This is probably a normal height I'll be using it at. So I'll just take a bit here. I think I'll just come down about an inch and a quarter maybe, and just clear out a spot right here for this to come through. So right here I'm just eyeballing where the handle hits and just give me an area to clear out. So I ran into a problem here, but it's not that big of a problem. We're just going to take this 2-inch Forstner bit, or 1 3/4 inch, and we're just going to just run it like this, right next to this here, something like that, and just cut out maybe that 1/2 inch. That'll be better than nothing. I don't want to cut into this this brace that much. So right here I sped up the video as I was hogging this material out, and I'll tell you right now, this unfortunately bits you don't want to use too much speed, and then there's usually a diagram per size, but there wasn't too much speed. I was just taking it nice and smooth. The cut came out really clean, so just take your time with them. Didn't go down all the way. Got a 1/4 inch left. I'm just going to drop this bit down a little bit. A little more, not bad. Try not to overheat it. You know, the Forstner bits get hot, so heat up and get dull and all that stuff. So drop that down a little bit here and take the rest of that out. There we go. Nice clear path. So we got right at 1 inch, just a little bit shy, but that's going to work. Set this up, and you can move this a little bit left to right, so whatever works. So it's nice and clear now, so that's going to work. I think I'm just going to put some wax on here and just seal it up a little bit, make it a little easier, a little smoother. And let's do that. Taking a dry paper towel and just buff it out. Alright, so let's test it out. I just drew a line on here and then set it up. I would say that works. Okay, so we tested it out. It works good, lines up, square. Now let's test out our removable centerpiece. So I'll do the damage over here for now. So let's go all the way through. measurements is there. You can move this as much as you want, wherever you want. You could even cut little half pieces and slide them in there. And that's easier than rebuilding cutting a perfect circle. You can't do that, or I think this is a nicer option. So that's it for the table. Right as I was ending this video and closing it out, I had an idea, and that's what I'm about to share with you right now. So this is what I'm thinking. Remember when I told you we could make those half pieces? Well, that's what I did. I put a couple half pieces in here. And we're gonna make this drill press table just a little better, or a lot better actually. And we're gonna leave that one there. We're gonna put this clamp. I just took off the bandsaw. These are pretty cheap, and I'll link it below. But we're gonna put this right here, and we're gonna make a clamp to hold smalls. I think that's a pretty cool idea. So we already built this drill press, and it's not an afterthought. I was just trying to make it better. So here we are. Let's make it better. And right here, just marking the holes and then pre-drilling them. Well, there it is. Let's go try it out. As you can see, I added a block underneath the clamp so you could drill thicker material and thinner material. So I figured 3/4 would be a good medium. So, and I also drilling against the fence and not against the fence. And when it was not against the fence, it wasn't that tight, but it didn't move at all. So just keep that in mind. Right here, I'm just showing you the ease of taking the different setups, putting them in and out. And I just think this is going to be a good addition to the fence table whole setup here. So I think that's just going to be that's going to do it and wrap it up. Well, that does it for this build for reals this time. No more trickery in my pocket. So, you know, solid table, nice fence, nice and square. I said that a bunch of times in the video, but it is. And a nice little clamp for smalls. And then, you know, the regular option as well. So this was a great build. I hope you got something out of it. I had a great time doing it. Hopefully you got something that you can put into your projects, that whether it's exactly this build or not, you know, hopefully there was something you got out of the video, maybe tips and tricks somewhere along the line. So having said that, that wraps it up. If you like this build and this video and this content and what you think I'm going to bring to the table on this new channel, hit a like and a subscribe, and I sure appreciate it. And you'll be on this journey with me. Until next time, bye for now.